Attitude, habitude, gratitude.
The next super middleweight champion of the world. This is our time to rise.
Well, and you have 15 minutes.
All right, thank you.
Hello, Albert.
Hello,
Good to see you.
Torsten. How you doing?
Always great, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Uppercut was amazing. It was a boxing film like I've never seen before, and I love the fact that it felt like it was influenced by certain other films in terms of the juxtaposition of time periods. And I gotta commend you on that. Great job on this movie.
Thank you. Thank you. Great. Thank you.
So my first question is, what was the inspiration behind the film?
I was looking for a possibility to show something like a real intense psychological momentum between two people. And I was going through something like a sports stuff, and I knew something about boxing, not too much. I'm not, a guy who is in the gym every day. And then I scouted some possibilities, and then I said, okay, these boxing things and the ballet things, they are, narrow, they are something like sweaty, they are close, people are close by. But I did not have any experiences with ballet. So I thought, okay, boxing might be interesting. And then, with the original movie here in Berlin, we found a place that was so cool because it was further on, it was something like a slaughtery stuff, something like that. And they brought in something like a boxing gym later. And I said, this is something like a place where we should put this story into. And so then actually I had the place first, which inspired me. And then I began to write the original piece. And it came to my mind because there was, of course, some rehearsing that we did. Then there was some research that we did with different people with these, let me say, coach philosophies. Then later in Los Angeles, we scouted some of those really shabby Los Angeles places where we, experienced how these coaching Methusalems work these days. And so, it came to me a little bit, and I loved playing with these different kind of influences, people who come from all over the world. And that was something which I thought could be very interesting to do a story out of.
What I found fascinating was, and I talked to Louie yesterday, how she did. I feel like she's the heart of the film. I love the fact that we get to see her first as a first training with Ving Rhames's character, and then we get the beats of her 8 years later as a now boxing coach slash manager herself, seeing a protege who has that same fire she had all these years ago. And that's what I really liked. I felt like I was watching, something along the lines of, like, in terms of the juxtaposition of time periods, something like Godfather Part 2, where you get the both, and Infernal Affairs 3, where you have the different time periods, but they're all connected together. And I like the fact that this was kind of different because you have the one character involved in both time periods.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's what really worked here, to see her constantly transitioning from this, up and coming privileged young woman who wants to become a boxer, live her dream, and then give someone else the chance of the same dream she has, that she
Yeah.
had all these years ago. And I think that was really the heart of the film, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was the idea to, to experience the confrontation in both ways, from the one and the other side. And I love that so much. I also love those, what you said, those scenes with Jordan and her, because Jordan is that wild child then 8 years later with the same kind of energy. And Jordan E. Cooper is such an amazing actor, a Broadway experience. But keep bringing this all together was something like a challenge. And so I thought it could be, when I wrote the script, it could be a nice little transition to have this Darius guy who is boyfriend at first and then later husband, and him being something like the door from the one time layer to the other. I appreciate that very much, my friend, that you say it that way. That was the plan. And when I first saw some comments in the United States that this might be something like another $1 million copy. I said, no, it is not really, because it's just it goes another path and it goes another way. And I so much love $1 Million Baby, and I really, can just, heads up. But we thought, with that momentum of making her a promoter, we have another path going on.
Yeah, that's what I really liked, because that's, I mean, people will take a first glance at it and they'll say that. They'll probably say it's $1 Million Baby again, but we get to see her as a promoter in the very opening shot. So it
Yeah,
makes you
yeah,
wonder, like, okay,
yeah,
now we're already dealing into something completely different. I think that was the very smart thing to do.
yeah,
And then have her go backwards, but then keep going, keep switching between it, so you can see that
yeah.
she has in common with Darius the whole thing. Like, she had this fire in her, he's got the fire in him now, and here we, and I think that was great. And Louis did such a great job, and I told her, she's gonna be a star to look out for, hands down. The way she performed in this movie, she was so amazing. I think she was perfectly fit for the role.
Cool, cool. I'm thinking exactly the same way.
What was it like working with Ving Rhames? I mean, that guy is legend. Like, hands down, he's one of the greatest of our generation. What was it like working with him?
Yeah, I mean, my friend, I can tell you, I was so blessed that he felt attracted to the part, and I think it worked out the moment we met for the first reading. I mean, this is something I always call it chemistry. So you go there, you have something like an idea of that thing, and obviously he had the same. That was pretty cool. And so once we had then this reading with Louis, with him and me, we were exactly on the same page. And we had a structure with him. We met every morning before we shot. We met every afternoon before we shot. We gave us those 5 to even sometimes 20 minutes to discuss the scenes, to, yeah, bring it all together. I learned and experienced from him some ideas, and he goes, sometimes let's do it, let's try it that way. And I go, yes, we can do that. Sometimes he said, let's do it that way. And I said, no, we won't do that. So it was very, very, very high energy level. He loved to do that. He is a superstar. You feel it all the time. Once he's on set, everybody's, quiet, but he's also decent. And he was very, let me say, on the same level with Louis, who was a young lady coming into America, but no arrogance. Just, yeah, it was something like a wonderful experience. We had him with us. Maybe you've seen that now with the European premiere here in Berlin. He flew over. We had the time of our lives together. He was so kind to everybody, and loved it so much. And yeah, so it was a fantastic experience to work with him, and I'll never forget that. And we talk regularly all the time. And we, of course, everybody's very curious what happens now with the movie, but in the end, that was very, very essential, not only shooting with him, but in the end, he also liked that movie very much. So he trusted me, and I'm deeply grateful that this trust was fulfilled in a way. You know what I mean?
Yep, exactly. That's great. How long did shooting take on the film, and were there any challenges that you faced during shooting at all?
Shooting was in total some 10 days in Los Angeles with Ving, and another 5 or 6, I guess, in New York City with the New York stuff. Challenges all the way. We were through writer strike. We were through actor strike last, that was in those days when we shot this piece. So we had to have, we were a SAG production. We had to have waivers. We have to, challenging all the momentums you can imagine. But I just, I was blessed in a way, because of that waiver stuff. And we shot in New York City, and all the productions were shut down. We could shoot, and so I had the opportunity to work with so much excellence on set, because these guys were available. You know what I mean? In production design, in camera, in gaffers, lightning guys, all these people around. And that was a huge gift to us in a way, in all this, very, very complicated situation. We had the opportunity to work with all these wonderful people. And so I guess that was something which I would definitely see as a huge gift of this very process.
That's amazing. Well, I gotta say, this was a great film, and I think people will need to check it out when it comes out on the 28th. And with that said, what's next for you? That is there any new projects in the works that you can talk about?
Yeah, actually, I have an idea, which is in a total other section. The working title at the moment is an Italian restaurant. Because, with my shooting kind of way, it could be interesting. Every city around the world, more or, with 10,000 people being in that city or more, everybody has an Italian restaurant there. So you meet there, you know the family who are driving this business. You maybe even know the guests being there every fucking night. So it is very, very interesting to think about a possibility to do something like a movie placing in such a spot and having a great cast being guests or crew there. Maybe some kind of melancholic, maybe even something like funny. So this is what attracts me. But when I write stuff, I have to have some 6 weeks without anything else. So I have to check out when I get these 6 weeks in the first half of that year.
That's awesome. I would definitely check that out. I could see it as a dramedy also, like
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
match the comedy and drama. I totally see it. I'm already picturing part of it in my head. That's a weird thing.
Yeah. 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 So, I mean, so once it is that way, it works. So, you just have to see how you can handle the people and yeah, maybe there's an opportunity. I like it very much every day more.
That's great. Well, everyone, Uppercut is coming out on February 28th. This is an amazing boxing drama that has that's not, despite what you might have seen in the comments, it is not $1 million baby clone. It is completely different. And it's a great performances from Ving Rhames, Louis, and Torsten. Thank you so much again for talking about the film. And I hope the film does really well.
Thank you very much, my friend.
All
Take
right.
care.
Take care and stay awesome.
Bye.